So I went to a restaurant last night to pick up an order for GrubHub, and when I got to the restaurant, there were 4 other food delivery people that were there picking up orders. The restaurant was really busy, and the way the restaurant has it set up is there's a half wall where the counter is, and this is where they put all of the orders that food delivery people are coming to pick up. And I saw the people at the counter talking to the other food delivery people, and they said, you know, here's your first order and we're still working on your second order. Do you want to take the first order? And they said no. I was the only food delivery person in there picking up orders that had a hot bag in my hands when I walked in the door. And I kind of want to talk to you about it today because it's really, really important that you always take your hot bags when you go into a restaurant. My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery, and I also teach you how to make online income. In today's video, I kind of want to talk to you about the importance of hot bags. I go into restaurants all the time and I see food delivery people in there picking up orders and they do not have a hot bag. As I said, I went into a restaurant called Granite City. It's a kind of not a real high-end restaurant, but it's kind of a mid-tier restaurant, and there are a lot of people that order food from this place, and I go in there all the time to grab food. When I go in there, sometimes they're a little bit busy like they were last night, and I was there literally 15 minutes waiting on my order to get finished. And when I was in there, there was a bag of food that was sitting on this half wall, and it sat there the whole time I was there. And the person that was there to pick it up was sitting down waiting for the second order, playing on his phone. And the staff actually asked him if he would like that first order before he got the second order, and he said no. So he just let it sit on this half wall while he was waiting on that second order to be finished. And the whole time it was sitting there, it was getting colder and colder and colder and colder. When we are out here doing food delivery, I approach it as if I were grabbing my own food every time I accept an order. If I wanted to get food delivered to me from a restaurant, I treat that order that I get the same way. When you go into a restaurant, it is very, very important for you to take your hot bag into the restaurant. I know that there's some people that have their hot bags in their car and they put them in the hot bags when they get to their car, but it's more important to get that food into the hot bag as soon as you can so it doesn't lose heat. When I walked into the restaurant and I saw that order sitting there, and that staff member asked the food delivery person if they wanted it, that food delivery person should have grabbed their hot bag and put it in there rather than leaving it set on this half wall getting colder and colder, because when that food would finally get to the customer, it had been setting out probably about a half an hour to 45 minutes. So as you can imagine, if it's sitting there that long and not in a hot bag, it has lost most of the heat. There were also other food delivery people that came in to get stacked orders, and they did the exact same thing as this first gentleman. There were literally 3 orders sitting on this half wall when I was in there, and the guys were sitting down, playing on their phones, waiting for that second order to get done, and the orders that were ready were just sitting there open. There was no warmer, and they were just sitting on this wall getting cold. It is really important for you guys to understand that part of what we do out here is we bring the food to people, and part of our job when we're doing food delivery is to take that food to the people as warm as we can. When I get stacked orders and I go into a restaurant and I know that one order is done and the other one is still waiting to be finished, I put that order into a hot bag immediately so it won't lose as much heat. And as I have said in other videos, if I run into a situation where one order is done and I'm waiting on the second one, if both of them will fit into the same hot bag, I'll stick that new order in on with the older order so that it retains as much heat as possible for both. So I kind of just wanted to throw a quick video today for you, because I know when I go into my marketplace, I see a ton of people out there and they don't bring in their hot bags and they don't put the food in a hot bag, especially when they're waiting on a second order. If I have a stacked order, I always bring in more than one hot bag until I know how big the orders are, and if I only need one, I'll put both of them in one and take both bags out, just use one. However, if they're big enough orders, I will bring 2 hot bags into the restaurant so that I can fit both of the orders in hot bags as soon as possible. So when you're out here doing food delivery, make sure you take your hot bags into the restaurants, and if you have stacked orders, get that first order that's done into a hot bag, and so it's not losing heat, so that you can get that customer their food as warm as possible. I have 4 different hot bags and I will take 2 in. If I have 2 orders, I will put the first order that's done in the better insulated hot bag, just so I can make sure the customer gets warm food. So make sure that you're always using hot bags, and make sure that you're taking them in with you to the restaurant so that you don't give customers cold food. Want to also remind you, I have some great tools down here in my description. The one I want to talk about is my metric spreadsheet. And if you want to know how well you're doing when you're out here doing food delivery, the only way that you can is to keep track of your numbers. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick. It's a free download for you guys, but I want you guys to take a quick look at it. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles, and then if you look to the right for each individual app, I put the time that I worked, the dollars that I made, along with the number of deliveries. Head to the bottom and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, along with your average per delivery. If you want to improve how you're doing when you're out here doing food delivery, the only way that you can is to know where you are. This metric spreadsheet will show you what your averages are and kind of give you an idea of where you need to improve. So head down into my description, go grab that free download for yourself. I also have some other great tools down here in the description, which are the Beans app and SimplyWise and QuickBooks Self-Employed. These are tools that I use on a daily and a weekly basis when I'm out here doing food delivery. Finally, I'd like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel so that you can continue to get the great content that I throw out here. I want to leave you with, I hope you are getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks